Greetings, ASA members. Santa Claus is coming to town and he's bearing gifts for school districts. They're called Enrollment Stability Grants. Santa Claus said these grants would hold harmless districts for enrollment losses of no more than 2%. In mid-November, these presents were opened. And what did we find? Oh, not quite what we expected. 20% less, 30% less, 40% less. And what did we learn? Not what we expected. But hey, there's Prop 208, that'll bring us money, right? Well, let's look at Prop 208. You might want to manage expectations with your staff. The tax takes effect next month, January of 2001. Let's take a look at how this tax is collected. Arizona taxpayers will pay their taxes for the 2021 calendar year via payroll withholding throughout the year, but they do their tax returns and finalize it in early 2022. Thus, the bulk of the revenue from Prop 208 will likely become available in the late spring of 2022. Therefore, will be available for the 2022-23 school year. So teachers and classified staff should be made aware that there will be no big money available for raises for the next school year, 21-22, unless the legislator makes an unexpected move, and that would be unexpected. Furthermore, remember that Prop 208 is, yes, headed to court. Republican legislators filed suit contending that the Arizona Constitution allows only the legislature to impose a new tax. The legislators are seeking an injunction to block implementation until a hearing is held, and they're in no hurry to hold that hearing. Secondly, a separate lawsuit was filed Monday by the founder of My Sister's Closet and a Maricopa County Superior Court judge. Until those two lawsuits are settled and potential legislative action provides a mechanism for how the revenue is collected and distributed, it's important for leaders to manage the expectations your staff may have about impending pay raises. You can read about these suits on a link with this message. So let's move on from that good news to COVID and the latest research on school children and the virus. Worldwide, we're learning more and more about transmission among school children. A National Geographic article on December 10th reported emerging research confirms that, and I'm going to quote directly, schools aren't the primary drivers of outbreaks, but cases will seep in and contribute to the disease's spread whenever a country loses control of containing the pandemic. Now, a 40,000 person study, 40,000 person study found that children under 15 were about half as likely as adults to be infected and half as likely as adults to transmit the virus to others. Almost all the coronavirus transmissions to children came from adults. So last week, the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention recommended that schools should be the last to close and the first to reopen. But here's the deal, even if children are generally less susceptible, when infections surge in a community, the risks in schools can dramatically increase. With the U.S. failing to contain the virus on a national level, American K-12 schools have reported more than 313,000 COVID-19 cases as of December 10th. Now, many other studies agree that age matters as well. One recent study tracked 4,524 people in Geneva, Switzerland from April through June. They found that children from 5 to 9 were 22% less likely to be infected, and that the risk increases with age. there's a critical shift somewhere between the ages of 10 and 12. Around that time, puberty, the risk of getting and transmitting the virus increases. The COVID Monitor, a group tracking information from more than 7,000 U.S. school districts, found that high school case rates triple those of elementary schools. So there's some things to think about if you're a K-12 district and you're looking at differentiating school opening and closing. I've included a link to the article about this study, which includes links to several other studies if you want to know the latest on what's going on with these kind of scientific research results. Will the pandemic still be around this spring? Likely, we don't know. But will we have AZ Merit 2 this spring? Big answer to that is maybe. But today, the State Board of Education extended the testing window. The new test window will be April 5th, that's the old test window, but now it's extended through May 14th for grades 4 through high school. What about grade 3? Grade 3 must test in the first 2 weeks of that window because for Move On When Reading, we need those results back by May 15th. The State Board also voted to recommend the state not award letter grades for Arizona schools this spring. But remember, only the Arizona legislature can suspend the A through F grading system. And remember, only the Federal Department of Education can waive the administration of AZ Merit 2, AZM2. The State Board can't do that. Now let's move on to 3 reminders. If you have K-3 students, your literacy plan, and most of you know this, was due October 3rd. This allows you to access funding. 20% of you, however, didn't quite make that deadline and in fact still haven't submitted it. So there's a link in this message for where to submit those literacy plans to the Department of Education, and you won't be punished for being late, but you want to access that literacy money. Secondly, school report card data. It's that time of the year for the new school report cards. Beginning December 9th through January 28th of next year, schools and districts will be able to preview the 2020 report card. Remember, that's going to include per pupil expenditures for each school, how much each school is spending per pupil, and that differs within districts, and the per pupil narratives, what kind of demographics are in each school. Now, you can check in advance between December 9th and January 28th that data for your schools on AD Connect, excuse me. You want to check that out so that your data is correct. Don't overlook this. And I'm going to include a link, a couple of links in the message for where to do that and how to look that over. Finally, if you haven't completed the teacher vacancy survey that we do right around this time every year, it's important that you do so. Contact Justin Wing at the Washington Elementary School District or that link I sent to superintendents about 10 days ago. Okay, it's a Happy New Year coming up and we've got some things going on. January 11th, the quarterly meeting. 3 more aspiring principal workshops, the 13th and 27th of January, the 10th of February. Speak Up, Stand Up, Save a Life Conference, January 19th. ASA Literacy Learning at Any Distance webinar, January 21st. And the ASA Winter Conference, ASA's Invincible Summer, February 1st and 2nd. There's lots of things coming up in the new year. Stay safe so you survive into that new year so you can attend those events.